Hey yo, Mooseville, don't be talking to Nene, bro.
Beats Planet.
What up? What up? What up? What up? It's Voch Lombardi. We back at it again. Salute to those of you tuning in. Salute to y'all. To those of you that came in early and doubled back to come hear some of this draft talk. Let me plug the laptop in. We good? Phones? Sure. Y'all want to do phones tonight? Chat box. Let me know if y'all want to do phones tonight. If not, I can just talk for however long I'll do this, and we'll wrap this thing up. And I get back to hunting legendary elk in Red Dead Redemption 2. So y'all let me know what y'all want to do. If y'all want to do phones, then we will. If not, I'll run it. See all these people talking about yes, do phones, but then when I set phones up, ain't none of y'all gonna call in. See how this work? Dan might call in. Sports fan entertainment Dan. But anyway, it's Voch Lombardi. What's good, y'all? We're talking draft today. We try to do this on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. That schedule's going to change soon because draft is almost here. And all this shit going to be different when draft is here. But for now, we're talking draft. And I told y'all Tuesday that I'll be studying DBs. I'll be finishing up all of my DB work. There are probably still some guys that I can probably look at on the back end and probably like some 7th round guys or so that I could probably study a little bit more. But I think I got about 6 rounds worth of guys. Let me take a look at my notes here. I got everybody from Greedy Williams to about Iman Marshall to Corey Ballantyne to Sheldrick Redwine. Chris Boyd's up in there somewhere. Kyrie Willis. So that's how far I've gone down. And that's about about 5 or 6 rounds or so. And then next week I'll do all my little finishing touches just to kind of knock it out a little bit. But anyway, so we're here. Let me just set the table a little bit before we start to going. Last week I talked about a few corners. Greedy, Trayvon, DeAndre. I touched on Rocky Sin a little bit, Byron Murphy. And I kind of just polished this thing up a little bit. I see Dan on the phone. Let me get this first little soliloquy out, and then I'm gonna let you rock. Sports fan entertainment Daniel. So Pete, man, just watching a handful of extra cornerbacks, that are not, maybe the first few or so guys. So when I do my cornerback ranking video, it's gonna be pretty different. Man. Just me watching some guys, some of these names that we're talking about, they kind of fall down the list a little bit, right? Guys like Trayvon Mullen really fell down the list the more I started watching guys, I was told to watch him first. Lieutenant Dan's guy, he's a Clemson dude. There's someone else in my chat box, I forgot who it was. They told me to watch him. So cool, I watched him. And then I got into Greedy and DeAndre and Byron, and he kind of fell to like that 4th guy. Then I watched Rocky Sin, and he fell down to about the 5th guy, right? Rio, salute to you, sir. Dropping a quarter pounder with cheese in the damn chat box. You know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in France? Royale with cheese. That's what they call it, man. Salute to you, man. Thanks for dropping that 25 in the super chat. If you have a question, you know you got priority, and you going to go first. Don't forget what I told you on the Twitter machine that day. Salute to you, sir. You one of the GOATs. But the more I watched guys, the more Trayvon Mullen just kept falling down my board a little bit, right? So when I'm watching film on Trayvon Mullen, he was a solid player. He seemed like a solid man cover guy. He'll probably be like a boundary man corner at some point. But when I watched him, man, he had problems when it was time to change directions, right? Like, boy, can a wide receiver really shake his ass up. Shake him up fries. You know what I'm saying? Like he'll really get to moving in every direction when these corners really start to, like, double moves, good luck to you. Like if he was going against a super nuanced route runner, like if he was to line up against Amari Cooper, I'm not saying that because I'm a Cowboys guy. I'm saying that because Cooper is a super nuanced route runner. If he goes up against a guy that's, let's say Riley Ridley, to keep it non-Cowboys. Riley Ridley, right? If he goes against a guy like that, man, he'll probably be shook the hell up. You know what I mean? And I don't know if that got something to do with his anticipation or his footing or his balance or whatever, but I saw him lose his footing a bit much, you know. But I did see him work really well as a boundary corner, getting guys out of bounds, just boom, boom, boom. Even though DeAndre is a better boundary corner, there's nobody I want putting receivers to the sideline more than DeAndre Baker. But let's get into some of these guys that I watched today, in contrast with Trayvon Mullen. And my cornerback and safety ranking video is going to drop tomorrow. I got top 10s for both of those guys. Holy shit. When I watched Julian Love from Notre Dame, holy shit. First of all, Julian Love has jumped over Trayvon Mullen, right? So Trayvon Mullen is like sixth at this point, right? Like, he just keep falling, keep falling, right? I'm looking at Julian Love. His only problem, I would say, is like his top speed. Like, I wouldn't let him go against a burner by himself. You know, if you give him like a cover 2 safety over the top of him or whatever, good luck to you. Anything between the first 10 or so yards, man, Julian Love is ridiculous. I like him a little more in man coverage. I think he's solid in zone. I think he's a pretty solid enough IQ guy, pretty solid, solid like awareness guy, you know what I mean? But if the route is anywhere within that 15 or so yards, that sumbitch will plant that foot and drive on the football. I am a huge fan of Julian Love. And I'm hearing the Trayvon Mullen talk, and I feel like Julian Love took his spot easily. Like, quickly, you know what I'm saying? Combine nerds help me out. I don't really know his size, but it seems like he moves pretty well. He's comfortable backpedaling, and what I like from him is that he looks back and he finds the damn football, man. He can play with the quarterback in front of him. He can play with the quarterback behind him. It's just that if somebody gets behind him, if it's cover 0 and Tyreek Hill get behind him, good luck to you. Good luck to you. Julian is smoked there, you know. But if Tyreek Hill ran like a dig or a slant or something like that, then Julian will be all over that, man. He just anticipates these routes and stick to these guys. I don't really know exactly where my ranking is going to end up, but boy, Julian Love, he's looking like he might be a top 5 guy. I don't know for sure. I'm not sold on it. I'm not done with my list just yet, but boy, am I a fan of Julian Love. Let me find my pen. All right. Somebody else that I was pleasantly surprised with, Joejuan Williams, right? Just watching Joejuan a little bit closer, he's a very strange prospect in a way that if you look at all of his traits individually, he technically doesn't know how to play corner. Technically. But if you watch the results of the play, he sticks with the players. He's long as hell. You know what I mean? Like, he's 6 mad inches or whatever. What, 6, what, 4, 6'3", 2? Combiners help me out. Joejuan Williams from Vanderbilt. Long arms, long build. Him and Isaiah Thomas. Let's talk about those 3 guys. Not Isaiah Thomas, Johnson. Isaiah Johnson, Joejuan Williams, and my Kentucky guy, Lonnie Johnson. They're all longer guys. They're taller, longer guys, and they do much of the same things. You wouldn't ask these guys to do too much man coverage, but as far as a zone look where they just kind of got to run up the field, cover 3-ish or whatever, or like play the flats in a cover 2, they're either pressing you at the line of scrimmage or they're bailing. But if you throw the ball to them, they just got to be long. Like, they just cool to be long. You know what I'm saying? Some of these like these double routes to the inside, I wouldn't really expect them to do too well in that. But Joejuan Williams in particular just knows how to stick with people. As far as his cornerback acumen, man, I can't really speak to it because just looking at it technically, it looks funny, but he gets the job done. Isaiah Johnson from Houston, you know, he moves a little better than Joejuan, and it could be because he's like 2 inches shorter than him. Isaiah's really fast. If somebody want to hit me with his 40 time in the chat box or whatever, Isaiah Johnson looks like he can really run. And I'm saying the same thing over and over for a reason, because that's what you need to be looking for. When he's in these cover 3 situations where he could just turn and run with people. If it's cover 3, you're not gonna throw a deep ball on Isaiah Johnson. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to get deep passes off on him. So big plays, just running nines up the field, good luck to you. Because not only can he run, but he will get his hands up and get that ball out the air. 4-3, I think, you don't know. He will get his hands up and get the ball out the air. You're going to have to beat him over the middle. Lonnie Johnson is probably the worst of those 3 long guys that I just mentioned. Lonnie just, he just got to learn a little more football. He just got to, he got to get his technique together a little bit. He just got to learn some more nuances of the game, but he is a 6'2" guy. I think he's going to be majority a trait dude. You know what I mean? Like somebody that could be drafted for traits and that, you can possibly mold into something. Lonnie got a lot of work to do. All these guys got a lot of cornerback to learn, but they are long, rangy guys that are super tall. I wish they were a little more physical. You know what I mean? With them being as big as they are, I wish they were a little, a little more nasty or whatever, but whatever. My other big guy, because I have a category totally dedicated to big guys, Armani Oruwariye from Penn State. I wish he knew a little more cornerback. Like, I wish he was a little more of a technician or whatever, but he's a super jammy guy, right? He likes to be that physical dude. As far as Armani Oruwariye, as far as how I would like him to play, like cover 2 teams, good luck. That's what it is. Like cover 2 zone, keep him in the flats, let him jam. But if you run past him, cool. Go over there to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? He's got a lot of cornerback to learn too, but he does have a solid frame, big swole guy built like an action figure. Really top tier size, top tier measurables. And a lot of these guys on this list, I just saw it in the chat box or whatever, from Oh For Really to God. A lot of these guys are measurable guys. You're going to have to deal with that. A lot of these guys are going to get drafted early because they're tall, because they're long, and because they can run a little bit. Those last 4 or 5 guys, can they play corner? Can they play corner with like high level cornerback skill? I don't know, but they do win with their traits or whatnot. Let's talk about scratch you out. Iman Marshall, I don't like him. He's not great to me. The Illuminati really tried to hype him up, not dealing with him. Let's talk about Justin Lane from Michigan State. Holy shit, let's talk about Justin. He may be like a top 5 to me. Justin Lane could be a top 5 guy to me. If not, he's right outside of it. He's like 6. The difference between Justin Lane and these other tall guys is that Justin Lane is about 6'1" or so, pretty long, but his ass can run and he can cover really well. That's the difference. And I think that's the difference between Lane and these other big guys. These other big guys, they live off their measurables and athleticism, but they don't have a lot of cornerback skills. They may end up, I'm talking about Lonnie, Jowan, and Isaiah, they may end up being like 4th round, 5th round guys. Justin Lane, who is tall and long and fast, he's going to be like a 2nd round pick because he can actually cover. He can actually run. He can actually move and navigate inside and outside. You know what I mean? So any kind of scheme that you want to run Justin Lane in, you can run it. He can do zone. He can do man. He can move around. Cover 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 if you want to do it. Like, Justin Lane really puts the nipple on the titty. And to be fair, I wrote it down somewhere. Hold on. Give me 30 seconds to find it. I wrote it down. I'm not going to reveal it to you, but I wrote it down on if I thought Justin Lane... Yes, Justin Lane is ranked over Trayvon Mullen. So, holy shit, Carl Lewis. Boy, Draft Illuminati really tried to get me with damn Trayvon Mullen right there. I find some guys. I see Rio in the chat box say Lane ain't afraid of the smoke. I agree. Lane can get competitive with these receivers, but I feel like ain't nobody really tackling. Ain't nobody really tackling. Lisa Legg says Lane is not good in zone. I disagree. I totally disagree. I think Lane is good. I think he's good in zone as long as it's in front of him. You know what I mean? If it's a situation where somebody gets behind him, then Justin Lane could have some trouble recovering. But if it's in front of him, Justin Lane can break and go and make these tackles. Now, where he shines, where he makes his money, where he makes the babies, where he puts the nipple on the titty, sure, he is 100% a man cover guy. But I do think he can play zone. Uncle Dave, what's happening, man? He says we need safety and defensive tackle help, period. Why more corners, huh? Maybe one corner in the later rounds. Let's not get corner crazy now. Justin Lane at number 8. I feel you, Uncle. This is just a draft show for everybody. This ain't really a Cowboy show. I did a Cowboy show earlier. This is more so just the draft show in general. So this for everybody. This for all 32 teams or whatnot. But holy shit, I'm a big fan of Justin Lane. I think he's going to be like a second round pick. Let's talk projections here before I move on. Greedy, Trayvon, DeAndre, pardon me, I take that back. Greedy, DeAndre, Byron, Julian, Rock Yasin, Justin Lane. I think they can go anywhere between late first round and mid second or so. That's just how I feel about him. Trayvon might be like third or fourth. I'm lying. Trayvon might be like a late second, early third or something like that. Let me say that about Trayvon. Who else I was talking about? Iman Marshall, that's 6. Corey Ballantyne could find his way into somebody's roster, maybe a 5th round or so. Isaiah Johnson could be like 4th. Somebody could take him higher because of measurables. Joe Wan, the same thing. He may be 4th, but he could be taken higher because of measurables. Lonnie Johnson, I have him as a 4th, but he could be taken higher because of measurables. Who else? GQ Trailblazers guy, David Long. I started doing research on David Long from Michigan, and I found out that David Long is from California. I said, okay, that's why GQ Trailblazers like him, because they share the California thing. David Long is a very physical at the point of attack guy. He's a mean dude. He's a jammy uppy guy. But if you get off that jam, I mean, shit, you might have him. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't do well recovering to me, which makes me think that, I don't know, maybe David Long could probably try his hand at safety. You know, some of these cornerbacks that can't play with their back to the quarterback, that can move around a little bit, that can tackle really well, maybe they can try their hand at safety. You know what I mean? Do I trust David Long for real in coverage? I think he has a lot of technique to try to clean up a little bit. You know, just as far as like hands, feet, how he backpedals. Oh, he has an ugly ass backpedal. I cannot stand it. But he does get to where he's trying to go. David Long got a lot of work to do, but I do like how physical he is at the point. And I ain't really got a good idea about where to draft him at. I know it's just saying RELAX. All right, Aaron Rodgers. Shit, I'm just saying. Kendall Sheffield, don't really like him. Kendall Sheffield's pretty late round guy to me too. I'm not gonna call him trash like Iman Marshall, but Kendall Sheffield's trash. But the thing about him is that he can run. Kendall Sheffield can run really, really fast. So I'm willing to try Kendall Sheffield at free safety. Ooh. If Kendall Sheffield is gonna be a corner somewhere, I want it to be as less space on the field as possible. Make him like a boundary corner, put him on the short side of the field, maybe like that, weak side corner. But he can run a little bit. But as far as playing cornerback, I'm not a big fan of Kendall Sheffield. I talk about Corey Ballantyne yet? Solid Senior Bowl guy from Washburn. Got a lot of respect there. Kind of did his thing there. He can run a little bit. I thought he was slow because Terry McLaurin ran straight past him, but it's just that I realized that day Terry can run. Terry can run. But when they did the rematch, Corey Ballantyne kept up with Terry McLaurin a little bit. So I'm fine with Corey Ballantyne just as a competitor. He got a lot of work to do too, technically, but he is a fighter. Let me talk about my safeties a little bit, and then we're gonna get into the phones or whatnot and listen to what y'all got to say. This is just my soliloquy. So Brandon and Daniel, please hang tight for me. Chris Boyd from Texas. Yes, Chris Boyd from Texas. He's solid. I think he's another candidate for somebody that can probably play safety a little bit. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily. Did I talk about him already? Did I talk about Chris Boyd already? That he could play safety, he could tackle a little bit. He needs some work in his coverage. Did I say that? I don't know. But he's solid though. He's a pretty good tackler, and I think that's why he'll translate a little bit to safety. Don't really want him in man coverage. He might be a nickel corner. He could possibly be a nickel corner, but you know. Lane gets crossed in zone, lacks zone awareness and feel for space. Don't trust his technique and layers in zone. Boy, Lisa, that's a rough go at it with your boy Justin. I don't see that. I don't see that, but it seems like you really put your work in. So if that's how you feel about him, I can't hate you on that. But that ain't how I feel. Who else on my list? Sean Bunting from Central Michigan. He may crack my top 10. I think he's a solid man cover guy. I think so. I think he can break on these routes pretty well. I think I remember seeing him really like riding guys on the sideline and then like, breaking on routes pretty well. He might be like 5'11" or so. I don't think he looked too big. Somebody help me out, Combine Nerds. I think he's another guy that'll probably get beat over the top a little bit as far as athleticism. So somebody tell me if y'all agree with that. But Sean Bunting from Central Michigan, I like him. He may be like my 10th guy in my top 10, but I think with a little more speed, he'll be okay. It'll be okay. Right, Rio. I'm disagreeing. I'm disagreeing the shit out of Lisa right now, dog. I disagree. I swear to God, Lisa saying all this shit about Justin Lane. I'm like, man, I'm not on board with any of this. And yes, I saw Michael Jackson from Miami. I don't think Michael's gonna be that great, but to answer your question, appreciate it, Jason. Thanks for the super chat. And let's go safeties before I get into the phone call. We're doing all defensive backs today. Last show I talked about Taylor Rapp. I talked about Young Nas, Lil Missile and Big Missile. That's Jonathan Abram and Darnell Savage. We talked about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, in which I really think Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is a nickel corner. Honestly, I don't necessarily consider him a safety. Even though he can play free, he can play strong. Chauncey is so fantastic at damn nickel corner, man. Oh, God, Chauncey. And what I like about Chauncey and where I think he'll get a bump on draft day is because you want to be able to stop the run and the pass in base formations. You know what I'm saying? So if Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is your strong safety, sure, you're like he's supposed to be like a tackle guy, right? But don't put him at strong. Put him at nickel. Put him at nickel. Let him cover guys and let him also tackle people. So now you got a nickel corner and a strong safety that can come up and tackle. So now you're not losing tackling from your nickel spot. You know what I mean? So I like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I'm gonna rank him as a safety when my ranking videos come out. But if it was Voch, I'm putting that dude directly at nickel corner. I talked about Juan Thornhill last show. Darnell Savage, Armani Hooker. I talked about him. I ain't really got no new developments because I talked about all these guys last time. Will Harris from Boston College. He's another safety, strong safety type of guy. I saw him playing the nickel a little bit. Solid tackler. He's pretty cool. I think he can do a little bit for you. And Mike Weber, who I think is a free safety. It's on like 3 free safeties I would really consider taking in this draft. That's Nazir Adderley, Deontay Thompson. I really like Deontay Thompson for whatever reason. He's fallen in the process or whatever, but I really like Deontay and Mike Weber, not Mike Weber. From Fresno State, Mike Bell. I wrote down Mike Weber. I must have been thinking about the Ohio State kid. Mike Bell from Fresno State. He's another guy that can be a free safety candidate with you because a free safety candidate for you because he has a little bit of range and I think he can get sideline to sideline. He just has to improve with every other part of his safety game. Like man coverage and tackling. He can tackle. He just chops people all the time. I want you to tackle a little better than that. And Armani Hooker is solid too. But I talked about him on the last show. Let's get into the phones. Let's get into the phones. Darren Jones said no DeAndre Baker. Yes, I gave a gang of DeAndre Baker thoughts on my last show. Plenty of them. Y'all got to tune in, man. Sports fan entertainment, Daniel. What's up, man? Wait, I got to turn the volume up. Hold up. Okay, cool. There you go. What's up, Dan?
What's up? I would like to update you, and I am no longer sports fan entertainment Dan. I'm just Dan. So there's that.
Okay. Well, let's go back to non-unintentional grounding, Daniel. That was your old name. So, what's up, my guy?
Or just intentional grounding. Remove the double negative.
On purpose. Penalties. What's good, my guy? It's been a while. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has been a while. I wanted to talk about how, not so much you, but I feel like the draft community is underappreciating some of these top guys in the DBs.
Let's talk about it.
Well, Greedy, you've got the little bit of, I'm not sure that he loves football,
Sure.
but I think he's got about as much talent in the quarterback as we've seen in a while.
I agree.
And the last, really, really talented corners that we've seen coming out, like Marshawn Lattimore and Jalen Ramsey, they had their own questions. Like, Ramsey, we weren't sure if he was a safety or a corner. Lattimore, we weren't sure if he was going to be able to stay on the field because he kept having soft tissue injuries. So
Sure.
I don't really see why he shouldn't be in the top 15 discussion, like why we shouldn't see Greedy in the top 15 discussion here.
Sure. I feel you on that. I'm just really wary of I don't love football guy. Like once upon a time, I may have had a soft spot for I don't love football guy, but I'm a Cowboy fan, Dan. And we just recently let go of David Irving, and David Irving went on Dallas Cowboy radio and he quoted, I think Jason Garrett doesn't like me because he wanted me to go the extra mile. He wanted me to work hard. He wanted me to do extra after practice, and I wasn't trying to do all that. Holy shit, did that make my back itch? You know what I'm saying? So I have a certain place in my heart for, not in my heart for I don't love football guy. I don't want none of those guys on my team.
Yeah, and I feel that. Another thing about Greedy, though, as well, like, time and time again, we see these guys come out of LSU, particularly DBs, and just are better than everyone thinks they are.
Sure.
I mean, you saw Dante Jackson come out and be better than he was drafted at. You saw, what was his name? I don't know. He went into an undrafted free agent to the Bears out of LSU, and he ended up starting for them.
Sure.
LSU is the true DBU, and you just see guys come out of there and be studs. You saw Tre'Davious White come out of there at pick 27, and now he's probably a top 5 corner in the league. You see all these safeties out of LSU with Eric Reed, Jamal Adams. You just consistently see absolute studs come out of there.
Are you saying that they're DBU? Is that what you're saying?
If you don't think they're DBU, then I think you're doing something wrong.
I feel you. Trey Day was there. He got drafted by Buffalo, of course, and who else? Honey Badger and all them. Sure. So they got
Jamal Adams, Eric Reed, Patrick Peterson. You got hella dudes out there.
Sure. I feel you on that. What else?
And the top guy in the safeties, Nasir Adderley. I mean, I think you're talking about a maybe a little bit less athletic version of Eric Reed. I mean, he's got that kind of nasty and that kind of playmaker.
Sure, I agree. He's my number one safety. I consider him a free safety, but when you got a mean free safety, I think you got something nice there. So I like Nas. One of my favorite plays is him on kick return, running dude over, looking at him, and then finishing the score there.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think of Taylor Rapp, though?
Taylor Rapp, I think he will be a strong safety, but I think in certain scenarios he can give you a little bit of deep coverage. I wouldn't let him be like a cover one free safety cover guy, but if it's a cover two where he's only responsible for half the field, I'll let him do that. As far as his 40 time goes, I'm not really tripping because Taylor Rapp doesn't beat you being faster than you. He beats you by being somewhere at the right time, you know what I mean? Like seeing it, reading, and getting there. So I mean, yes, his 40 time is a conversation to be had, but I don't think that's killing him. I mean, that's not why I'm drafting him. But I like Taylor Rapp. He's one of my top 3 or 4 safeties I haven't counted yet. If I can get him, I would like to have him.
Yeah, and I don't know what his athletic profile is, but I think he's got a chance to sort of be a little bit like a Harrison Smith type player in that he's just going to be in the right place and you can rely on him to not really make a mistake.
Sure. I kind of want him to, lift some weights, peanut butter sandwich, glass of milk to kind of thicken up a little bit. But besides that, I'm fine with Taylor Rapp.
Yeah, and another guy in the safety department, Darnell Savage, I like him because you can move him around just about anywhere you want him to on any given play. Like, I'm not going to throw him back there as, single high safety like every play, but I think he's got the athleticism and the instincts that you can pretty much put him wherever you want to on any given play, and he can be that guy out there where, if the offense starts going no huddle, you can move him around to do what you need him to do.
Man, I'm such a fan of Darnell Savage. Little Missile is what I call him, man. Not only is he like a missile-y, tackle-y, knock your head off guy, but I've seen his ass break on some coverage and pick the ball off and bat some passes out. I really like that dude in zone coverage. I like him, running with tight ends and all that. Like, I really like him. And the only reason he's gonna fall in the draft or whatever is because he's probably short. You know what I mean? But yeah. I'll take him though. I'll take that.
Oh yeah, and he's a guy that I'm looking at for my Panthers. That like, if we could get him in the second round, man. I'm seeing some mocks with Nasir Adderley being there in the second round. I would flip out. I think he's a mid first round prospect at worst. So if we can get him in the second, I would lose my mind.
Yeah, man. That's a little mock draft machine people be using. What's the name of that thing, man? The fan speak joint. You know what I mean? Yeah, that ain't real.
Well, there's a better one now on the Draft Network, and that one's a little bit more accurate.
I don't use none of them.
I'm seeing that,
but yeah,
in people's mock drafts as well. Granted, the pundits are just about as reliable as those simulations, anyways, because they ain't worth shit. But
man, look, Nas is probably going to be gone by 16, 17, 18. You know what I mean? So if you're in the second round hoping to get Nas, just go get somebody. Go get Thornhill. I'm a big Thornhill fan too. Hello? Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Something's going weird there.
Man, that damn cricket phone, man, setting you up. Okay, what else we talking about with these DBs? What else you got?
Only thing I got left is we got some really sick names in this class. Rocky Sin, Greedy, those are some.
I'm
nice
such a fan.
names.
I'm such a fan of Rocky Sin, dog.
Darnell Savage. Oh man, we got some great names.
Sure. So we'll see. That's it. You good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, man.
Yep. And best of luck. I'll be tuning into your streams for the draft, and hope you all get someone that you're excited about. If we don't talk between then.
Yes, sir. We're gonna do 3 of them. They're gonna be long as hell, and I'm gonna be tired, but they're gonna be good. Appreciate you, bro.
Yep. You too.
And let's get Brandon on the phone. What's good, Brandon?
What's going on, Voch?
Doski Woski, my friend. What you got for the show?
You can't start the video by telling me to stop talking to Nene, man. You can't do it.
Brandon, I can 100% tell you to stop talking to Nene whenever I feel like it, sir. That's exactly how this works. That's exactly how this works, friend. But what's up, my guy? What you got for the show?
So this is what I got, man. I'm not the best at evaluating DBs. It's one of the areas that it's really a lot of.
Actually, man, watching
you never
film,
know how it translates well.
Watching film on DBs is pretty trash, fam. It's I hate it. I can't stand it. Yeah. But you know, it's just something we got to do. But exactly. Go ahead. But go ahead.
That I've been liking though is I love Lonnie. I fell in love with Lonnie Johnson, man. I told you before when it came to receivers, I'm big. Quarterbacks. I'm big on genetics.
Sure.
Huge guy, huge arms. And that's one of the things that I like about him. And then you can't beat how many pass breakups and that he had this past year, and tackles. He's a pretty good tackler.
Sure.
So I'm wondering why he is so low on a lot of people's ranking. He's actually number 7 for me, 6 or 7.
Because there are guys that can cover better than him, and they have better technique than him, but they're also as long as him. I named guys that were just as tall, like Lane or Isaiah and Joanne Williams. They're long guys too, but I think they cover a little better than than Lonnie does. Lonnie could be drafted higher because of his measurables. I have him as a as a 4th round guy, but somebody could probably reach and take him a little bit earlier and take his traits and try to work with him.
Yeah, understandable. Yeah, like I said, it's corner is one of those things where you, at almost every position, you kind of rolling the dice with a guy. Mo Claiborne is a good example of that. Dude was a monster in college.
Sure.
So as long as you got the measurables, I think is really a more worthwhile investment than somebody who shown that they have the skill in college but doesn't necessarily got genetics on their side.
Sure. I feel you on that. What else you got?
So because I'm, not the best at evaluating DBs, can you go a bit in depth of how you go about evaluating?
And this is basically how I watch film on everybody. First time, I just kind of eye test it or whatever. You know what I mean? I just let it run because I just want to get a general idea of the player. You know what I mean? Then I'll just watch it back and watch it close, and that's when my rewinds come in. That's when I start to looking at, each trait in particular. Right? What I like to do is I like to take somebody that's already a pro and then compare that player to that pro and start thinking about which traits am I subtracting or whatever, right? So like if I'm looking at a corner or whatever, let's say I put him against Jalen Ramsey or whatnot. Okay, what's the size like? Okay, cool. Length and all that good. What's the speed? Now I'm looking at hips and can they change direction or whatnot? How do they play in zone? Do I think they can how is their mental processing or whatnot? How do they read? Is like okay, so like if it's a zone play, is he reading the quarterback or is he looking at the receiver? Like what is his back pedal looking like? Can he play with help or without help? How does he work breaking from outside to in, inside and out? Cornerbacks, man, it's a lot to look at, bro. But you just kind of once you just keep doing it, you just kind of get a hang of it. And by time, and then you look at like tackling, like Jalen Ramsey's a fantastic tackler. You know what I mean? You look at these corners. There's a lot of guys in this draft that ain't tackling no damn body. You just kind of, just take those traits from that best guy in the league, and then take traits away from the player that you're evaluating, and that'll kind of put you where you want to be at.
Okay,
makes sense.
That's all I got, man.
All right, man. Appreciate it, Brent.
All right, peace.
Yep. La da 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 da. If y'all want to call into the show, what's my time like? Damn, I'm at 40 minutes already. Damn, how long was my soliloquy? Oh man, this show flying by. I'll be playing Red Dead in no time. Okay, cool. So peep this out, y'all. I got 20 minutes left. If you want to call into the show, the number is 515-606-5187. Access code 309104. I just said it. You can see it on my screen in the top left corner. It's in my description. Nene will hold me down in the chat box if anybody needs it. I'm sure she will. Call into the show and tell me how you feel about these corners. If not, hey, Q&A, chat box, what's good? Actually, wait a minute. Let me check my Discord because I got to get these Discord questions off. Let's see. Can't believe Voch ignored my Youngstown, Ohio running back, Darryl Hall. 7 yards per carry. So after I check out these linebackers and look at these handful of tight ends I got to look at, I'm going to go back over every position with a fine-tooth comb and look at all the obscure state players that I may have missed. And I don't think I missed Darryl Hall. I just don't think Youngstown was the school he played for. It was another school. It was it Appalachian State or something? What team did it's so many guys, man. What team did Darren Hall play for? App State, I believe. I believe it was App State. Yeah? Let me know. Because if that's the case, I think I remember watching film on him, and I think I came away from it with that he was just regular. Edgar say Nene the assistant. Nene's the wife, son. What's wrong with you, dog? Nene's the wife. Hall is from Pitt. I don't know. I'll check it out. Voch, what do you think of Monty Freshman from I don't know who that is, dog. I don't know who the hell that is, dog. I'll be cleaning all this up. I should be ready by the draft or whatever. No. You good, Edgar? You good, my guy. You good, my guy. Anyway, I'm about to check my Patreon chat box, my Discord Patreon Q&A thing. They pay to be here. So Discord. They pay to be here, so I want to get their questions in if they have any. And then after my Patreon guys, I'm going to open it up to super chats. Then after the super chats, I'll look at chat box, okay? So with that being said, these hoes going to make me log in knowing damn well I don't know my login. They know damn well I don't know my login information. All right, cool. Here we go. Don't worry about it. All right, cool. Straight. Here we go. I'm gonna go to my Voch Lombardi tab, and if y'all want to join my Discord, the link is in the description. I think. Yeah, the link's in the description. And we got 2 questions in there. Marculus says, if Haskins fall out of the first round, where do you see him going in the first round? Come on, man. Come on, my guy. Is there anyone in the draft Illuminati whose opinion you respect? I respect Dane Brugler is cool. He's straight. I respect Daniel Jeremiah until their program director make him talk about popular people. Yes. I respect Voch Lombardi. I'm not a part of the Illuminati yet, but I'm close. And as far as like the Illuminati guys, like that's it. That's all. I ain't really got too much respect for those guys. No. That's it. Because I feel like I'm better than them, and I hate to make grandiose like statements or whatever. I really think I'm better than a lot of those guys. But whatever. Then he says, "Are we going to get a Dallas Cowboy roundtable before the draft?" I know we can get 3 of us. I know me, Law, and Okoye pretty much good to go, but we don't want to run this thing without Foots, man. Foots is our guy, and if Foots is busy, then we'll just kind of rearrange it and we'll just go from there. However, as soon as Foots is ready, we're gonna line up and run this thing. And then he just dropped my Discord link because she's fantastic. There you go. Edgar Bonilla says, love the show. Good content. Salute to you, sir, for dropping a deuce in the super chat, sir. Appreciate you. All right, that's my Discord, guys. Appreciate y'all for answering those questions. We got 15 minutes for Q&A. What y'all got? Chat box. What y'all got? Who's better, Murphy or Greedy? I have Murphy ranked higher than Greedy. Anyone purchase a PFF subscription? I'm not a fan of PFF. Now, if PFF wants to give me some obscure ass stat or whatever, that, when Dallas Cowboy quarterbacks hold the ball for 2.5 seconds, their left tackle is normally da-ba-da-ba-doo-ba-da. If they do that, then I'm like, okay, cool. That's an interesting stat, something that I didn't feel like looking up, but like their rankings, I have no idea what metrics they're using or whatever. Maybe they're just winging it or pulling guys out of the hat, but I'm good on that, my guy. Voch, who are your top 5 corners, including slot corners? I'll be dropping a video on that tomorrow. I'll be dropping my cornerback ranks tomorrow, so stay tuned. Joejuan Williams, which round? In my opinion, like 4th, but somebody's gonna fall in love with the length and they may do it earlier. It may be a little early for them. I just saw something. Who's better, Murph? No, I just answered that. Illuminati guys. You're way better than the Illuminati. I feel you on that. Appreciate it. Have you checked out the Pittsburgh running back? Nah, but he's on my list to like re-look at. You know what I mean? Like I saw him in passing or whatever, but I probably gotta re-look at him so I can have a qualified opinion of him. You know what I'm saying? I missed this question. Okay, who is my favorite jazz artist? I'll tell you what, man. I'm a Mississippi cat. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of like my jazz a little different. First of all, much respect to Miles Davis, man. You can't talk about jazz without saying Miles or Coltrane. But I'm a Thelonious Monk guy. You know what I'm saying? Just as far as something you can just sit back and listen to and just find yourself a victim of. That's kind of how I describe it. You know what I'm saying? Just finding myself a victim of it. I kind of like Thelonious Monk. And Phil Collins has some jazz tracks that I really like. Phil Collins ain't really a jazz guy. But whoever the hell playing saxophone for him when he does get in his jazz bag, like Phil has this big boomy jazz sound, you know. It's a song called not called Uptown, like The West Side. If you listen to Phil Collins, The West Side on his No Jacket Required album, that's what I mean. He has this big booming jazz sound. I really like when Phil Collins gets in that bag. So sure, that's my thing. How is McCoy ranked over Jenkins? He shouldn't be, but but hey, if they want to take Eric McCoy earlier, cool. But Elgin Jenkins from Mississippi State is my guy. Cowboy Crunk said Dane Brugler SP is a good one to listen to. So I follow his Twitter account. Yes. Dane is top tier. I like Dane Brugler, and I can tell he's top tier because I can really tell that he does his homework, and based on him doing his homework, I listen to what he has to say. Don't necessarily agree with him all the time, but I do let him fly because I can tell that he did his research. So, since we're talking about music, who's your favorite rapper? Like current or all-time rapper? Please differentiate, because like current rapper, I'm waiting on that K-Dot album. You know what I'm saying? As far as who I think the future's gonna be, like JID is fantastic. Old rapper, I think Tupac is the GOAT. Even though it took me to be an adult to really get an appreciation for Jay-Z and what he does. Because I was a Southern guy, so I listened to a lot of Southern music. And, you know, people in the South weren't necessarily just bumping Jay-Z like that. But as an adult, I've developed into a Jay-Z fan. Scarface should probably get a lot of credit, too. But I think Tupac is the GOAT. Kendrick is my current guy. I think JID is the future. Just my thoughts. Best guard in the draft is Chris Lindstrom from Boston College. That's my son. He's fantastic. Current. Okay, cool. So, what's up, Quan? Who's my biggest draft sleeper? Shit, Rock Armstead, dog. I'm saying that all day, every day. Whoever draft Raquel Armstead probably got this year's Kareem Hunt, dog. You know, not that he's going to get in some, you know, TMZ controversy, but as a guy that gets drafted late, that could probably come in and make a humongous impact. I really feel that. Do you see anyone from Division II sneaking into round one? Nazir Adderley, if that's Division II, if Delaware is Division II, I don't know. Both are going to fall to the Raiders, if you say so. Lisa, are you a Raiders fan or are you a Cowboys fan? Like, which one are you? Which one? Where you from? Voch, what handguns do you own? What is your favorite? Well, I have a Glock 19, which is my main chick. That's my concealed carry piece. That's what I put on my bedside. That's where I keep every day. But what I keep on my computer table is my Bitone XDM. Shouts out to Springfield. It's the 3.8-inch barrel. Yes, 3.8-inch barrel, and I have an extended magazine so I can do my 19+1 thing. So, Jay-Z is the GOAT in my book. Let me tell you something about Jay-Z and how I, you know, developed into respecting Jay-Z, right? Like I said at first, I was a Southern rap fan. I was a lot of, you know, Scarface, UGK, you know, Outkast or whatever, but you know, I feel like you can't listen to Jay-Z as a young man and really get it, you know? There's no possible way. I re-picked back up Jay-Z because I gave him a try when I was like 13 because I used to sell CDs in middle school. I was cold at it too. This was like pre-MP3s. I had to pick Jay-Z back up when I was 18, and I was like, okay, I like, you know, Blueprint. I like Black Album. I like these albums from Jay-Z. Watch the Throne's cool. But I'm 27 years old now, Rio. And when I go back and listen to Reasonable Doubt and American Gangster, right? I remember a lot of people not liking American Gangster. You got to be in a certain mindset to listen to American Gangster. What I noticed from Jay-Z, like if you listen to the volumes, Jay-Z was like he'll have some hot tracks where he's just rapping, and that's dope. But then he'll have some songs where he's trying to find a sound, or it sounds like he's trying to contrive a hit. You know what I mean? He'll have a song with Killer Mike and Big Boy, and he'll have a song with Too Short, or a song with Sean Paul where he's rapping cool, but the beat will be whatever and the hook will be trash because he's trying to find a sound. You know what I mean? But what I like about American Gangster, what I like about Reasonable Doubt, Hove was just rapping. He was just rapping. He was dropping knowledge and he was being better than everybody else. So as a 27-year-old Voch Lombardi, some of my favorite Jay-Z albums are, salute to all the rest of them, but Black Album, Reasonable Doubt, and freaking American Gangster. Those are some of the toppity tracks. So sure, Jay-Z has a spot in my top 3 or 4 or so. But man, Tupac is just fantastic, man. Tupac, and I promise I'm gonna get back to the rest of y'all questions. It's just this is a general Q&A. Y'all can say whatever y'all want. What I really like about Tupac is his ability to paint pictures and make me feel what he painted. It's like he painted a picture. It's like I painted a picture, but Tupac used my hand to paint it, and he generally makes me feel what he's coming from. Like Jay-Z will have a line that'll make sense. You know what I'm saying? I'll go, that's some knowledge from Jay-Z. That's facts from Jay-Z. But when I listen to Tupac and he'll say, I did a podcast on this. It was in Changes, the end of the second verse on Changes, when he was like, you got to operate the easy way. I made a G today, but you made it in a sleazy way. Selling crack to the kids. I got to get paid, but hey, that's the way it is. And just those handful of bars, he painted how shitty it was to be in the hood with no money, how I'm willing to do whatever I got to do to make money, even if it's selling crack to the kids. Tupac saying, bro, you really going to do this just to make money? And dude acknowledging how shitty it is to sell crack to kids. But at the end of that exchange, both men realizes there's nothing else different that we can do about this, because that's just the conditions and the hand that we've been dealt. Just that small bit of bars, right? That's like 6 bars or so, right? Just within those 6 bars, it painted a picture and it made me go, holy fuck, bruh. You know what I'm saying? A lot of lines can make you go, I learned that from New York cats, you know what I'm saying? Like when Jay-Z swagging on somebody, right? He was on a song with Big, all right? Right, he was like, UCAS is home, screaming the fight song. I'm in the 1,500 seats, watching Tice song, like that old Jigga Man shit. You'll go, talk to him, Jigga. But Tupac has made me on plenty times, plenty songs, plenty occasions, Tupac has made me go, fuck. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I put Tupac up there. And that's why Scarface is like my number 2, because Scarface, like emo Scarface, nobody's better than emo Scarface. And emo Scarface can really get you in your damn feelings too. You know what I'm saying? So let's get back into my bag. I can prolong this and make this whole Q&A about everything and not just football. We've gotten the football out the way, but we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. Beastie Boys, yeah, sure, salute. Is Kendrick top 5 all time yet? I don't want to say that, but I will say something. I will say about Kendrick is that he ain't missed yet. You know what I'm saying? He ain't missed yet. Section 8, To Pimp a Butterfly, Untitled, Unmastered. If Damn is your worst project, you're fantastic. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say Kendrick's top 5 yet. I would have to sit down and really think about it. Kendrick got some more on the longevity side to do. But boy, oh boy, oh boy, Kendrick's fantastic. Oh yes, I didn't finish my gun conversation. So yeah, I got a Glock that I carry, my XDM for the table, but I have built an AR-15. It's my baby. BCM upper, Arrow precision lower, Geisley trigger, EOTech sight on it, Viking tactical sling. I have a nickel boron boat carrier group. There's something else I'm missing on that thing. A Radiant Raptor charging handle or whatever. Like that's my main joint. But then I got a backup AR just in case like society breaks down. So like if I'm with a friend, I could just give them the M&P Sport 2 and we'll be safe. So do you think Nasir will be there at 37 when the Giants pick? No, sir. Why haven't anybody picked up a Dominican Sue? I don't know. Maybe he's chilling. Maybe just at the house chilling. Does your ass itch if the Cowboys draft Tristan Hill or Rennell Wren at 58? Yes. A lot. Delaware is D2, same school Flacco from. Cool. Delaware, a.k.a. Steel Michigan's helmets. Voch, you need to get a 5.7, the best weapon I ever brought. I would like to get an FM 5.7, but time, man. Time. Whenever I blow up on YouTube, then we'll go there. Then we'll figure it out. Ghetto Boys is fired. DJ Quick is fantastic. I love him as a producer. AMG Bitch Better Have My Money is one of my favorite songs. I really like his verse on that. It's one of my favorites. And that may be misogynist. Just me liking that verse, but whatever. Voch, do you like Nipsey? Bro, I mess with Nipsey. I'm pissed and sad about it. This is my thing about Nipsey. Just to be fair and honest with everybody, I wasn't really like a fan of his music. I wasn't like a super fan of his music. Looking back on his music, he did have a lot of gems that he put in his raps, but I won't fake and lie like I was a fan of him. But my relationship with Nipsey is the same relationship I have with David Banner, the same relationship I have with Killer Mike, the same relationship with 50 Cent. You know what I mean? I can't tell you any of 50's new music. I don't really listen to Run the Jewels that much. If David Banner was still rapping, I couldn't tell you what he was saying. But in terms of what they do on a social level, I really follow those guys, like really, really, really closely. They all are people that you should just listen to in an interview setting, and not just on like some Fox News, CNN type of stuff, just some 5-minute cut you off, whatever. Listen to these long form podcasts when David Banner's talking for an hour, when like 50 Cent do a lot of ignorant shit on Instagram. I get it, and that's hilarious, but 50 Cent knows how to run business. Like he knows how to take care of business, how to manage money, how to invest in the right things. Chameleonaire is another investor, right? So when I look at Nipsey, I more so respected Nipsey outside of his music. I wasn't really a fan of his music. I'm honest in saying that. But I remember watching that video. The first time I saw him, it was a video, and he was looking like Crazy Bone from Bone Thugs. He had a hat on, and he was talking about buying and land and investing in things, and not just being a typical rapper and spending money on chains. And the dude that was interviewing him, he said, "Hold on, wait a minute, say that again so everybody can hear you." And I was like, "Okay, cool. This dude kind of he's kind of talking some solid shit." And I listened to all his radio interviews. I listened to everything that he just kind of talked about, and just him, just how to move in life. You know what I'm saying? Even with the whole Kodak Black thing, shooting a shot at Lauren London or whatever, somebody can drop a clip of Nipsey from a year ago, saying something relevant to that situation, saying, "Hey man, we should ignore foolish shit. We should just block out all negative and dumb shit, because if we don't give it energy, it goes away." You know what I'm saying? So when people saying dumb shit, sure, if we react to it, if we put it on social media, if we make it a big deal, it becomes a thing. But if we move like the real move, then it'll just dissipate and it won't catch legs and move anywhere. And that's a good little lesson to live by. So no, I didn't listen to his music, but I was a fan of his philosophy of life. American Gangster was the best soundtrack of all time. Above the Rim is a better soundtrack than American Gangster, and Purple Rain is a better soundtrack than both those. But I feel you. American Gangster is a fantastic soundtrack if you want to consider that a soundtrack. Jay-Z, I think, is a Dallas Cowboys fan. Beyonce from Houston. Jay-Z better not be a Cowboy fan. Tupac is definitely number one by far. Man, I don't even know if I want to say by far, but Tupac is my number one though. But I listen to a lot of good rap though, man. A lot of good rap though. If you like Tupac, you would like Joyner's ability to paint a story. This is my thing about Joyner Lucas, right? Joyner Lucas I think gets overrated as a storyteller. Even though I really like Joyner Lucas, how he tells stories, I don't think he paints the story like other storytellers that I really like. You know, Joyner Lucas has the ability to be a great storyteller, sure, but Tupac as a storyteller, Andre 3000 as a storyteller, Notorious B.I.G. is a fantastic storyteller. Scarface is a fantastic storyteller. I like Joyner Lucas, the Ross Capriccione joint. I like the Keep It 100 joint. I like the I'll tell you what. You want to know the one song Joyner Lucas had that made me feel it the most? Like his feel song. It's a song called Forever on his phone number album. 508-507-22997. The phone number album, right? The song where he's rapping by the sun. That song gave me all the feels, you know? Keep It 100 is cool, but it's basically just narrating. Ross Capriccione is narrating. Joyner never really put me in his shoes until he did the song about his son. And holy shit, that was a fantastic track. So I feel what you're saying on that level, but I wouldn't put Joyner up there with like the best storytellers, but Joyner is fantastic in his own right. Who's the best running back in this draft? You don't watch my videos. You don't watch my videos. Would you take Hakeem Butler at 58? Sure, but he won't be there. Hakeem won't be there. Do you listen to Black Hippie? They're cool, but I don't listen to them. Keep it 100, no homo. I'm gonna miss Nipsey. Him, J. Cole, and Kendrick could bring real rap back. It's a lot of real rappers, man. You just gotta find them. You just gotta not listen to the radio. The radio ain't really where you find good hip hop at. You know what I'm saying? I haven't even really been listening to a lot of hip hop though. I listened to a live John Mayer album. Holy shit, man! Boy, John Mayer is fantastic. You know what I mean? I get into a lot of music, man. I really got a pretty deep music bag, man. I'm a Phil Collins guy mostly, though. Is Rakim in your top 10? If I sat down and okay, is he in my personal top 10? No. Rakim is not in my personal top 10. I think Paid in Full is a fantastic album. Paid in Full is... I give Paid in Full a lot of clout because if you listen to it, a lot of rappers from the 2000s have borrowed lines from the Paid in Full album. You know what I'm saying? Like just throwaway lines that Rakim gave you or whatever. A lot of rappers have taken those lines and, you know, flipped them and made songs and hooks out of them. So Rakim definitely gets points there. He definitely gets points for being a pioneer and being first. On my personal top 10, on my top 10. No, sir, Rakim is not on my top 10, but I do acknowledge Rakim as a fantastic lyricist and someone that is a pioneer and someone that is a staple in hip-hop. He's just not in my top 10. How many sons do I have? I have Chris Lindstrom, LJ Collier, Lil Missile, Darnell Savage is one of my sons. And when the Cowboys draft, then I'll decide... you know, who's my sons. You heard I'm Sorry by Joyner. The Suicide song? Yeah. I listen to Joyner. Like, I really fuck with Joyner. Like, I'm a Joyner Lucas fan. I'm just, you know. I'm just not going to put him up there as far as the greatest storytellers, though. Joyner Lucas is a great writer. Sure. Like, he's a great scenario painter, but, you know. Stephanie, do you have a question, Stephanie? Seems like you're just enjoying the conversation. You're just sitting back chilling. What you thinking about? You should drop some film sessions of your sons. Let me tell you something, Nick. I have 67 film sessions for you to go choose from. 67. I'm gonna drop 3 more, and that's gonna be at like 70. That's gonna be Rocky Sin, Andre Dillard, and Devin Singletary. And that's gonna put me at 70 film sessions. Bruh, come on now. Voch, what are your thoughts on Eminem and the way he puts his rhymes together? Another strange little opinion. I like Cypher Eminem more than music Eminem. You know, I think music Eminem has a lot of hits and misses, and I think Eminem can kind of get out of a zone that I like. You know what I mean? But if Eminem is just flat out rapping, man, come on, man. You know, come on, man. Just rapping. just putting words together. Eminem is fantastic. He'll probably, he's in my top 10 of lyrics. Is he on my personal top 10? I don't think so. But I've enjoyed a lot of Eminem, but I think I like his ciphers a little more than his music. The Marshall Mathers joint is fantastic. Fuck, it's a couple more that I'm thinking about, man. I can't think about them right now. Rap God ain't even one of my favorite Eminem tracks, but yeah, Rio, that's a good point. So like when Eminem was on pills and shit, like when he was like just drugged up, sure, Eminem was fantastic. Recovery was a pretty solid album, you know what I'm saying? But like newer Eminem, I'm straight. If I'm listening to new Eminem, it's gonna be like a cipher, a freestyle or something. That's when he's fantastic. I asked a few. My question is, how do these guys get together and mesh on the field after TC or training camp? Okay, and a variety of ages and experience. I tell you what, Nene. I say Nene. My bad, Stephanie. I'm bad with names on the fly. Pardon me. I'm looking at everybody in this thing. Stephanie, if you put a bunch of people in a room, they will eventually get acclimated to each other. I played football for a while, and I played ball with a lot of people that I didn't necessarily share character traits with, that I wasn't necessarily friends with or cool with. But if you just around people long enough and you sweat with people long enough and you work out and train and hurt with people long enough, you eventually mold into football players. And you may not be friends, but you can do your job with somebody after being close to them that long. So, Jordan Lucas doesn't bring you into the story. He just brings you into it. He just reads you into it. That's kind of what I'm saying. Kind of, sort of. Kind of. So like I said, like the Ross Capriccioni joint and Keep It 100, which are great stories. Sure, it's like he's reading those. Sure. But if you listen to Forever, the song about his son, it's like you felt his real passion in there. Like it was a line about a baby shower. Like he was at the baby shower with his child's mother or whatever. And he was like, man, this baby shower was everything to her, but to me it was just another day. You know what I'm saying? My mom walked through, you know what I'm saying? She walked over to him. She said, "You cool?" I said, "Yeah." You know what I'm saying? Like that, Thoughts on Boise State Alexander Madison? He's cool. Mattison. He's cool. He's a north and south runner. He gets tough yards or whatever, puts his head down. Just solid guy. Solid guy. Could you see Gallup getting 900 to 1,000 yards this year? Cleo Lombardi, Vostradamus. Who knows? Voch, let me call in. I haven't cut the phones off. You ain't call in. Shit. Yeah, call in and I'm on the screen. Yeah, sure. Do your thing. Bushwick Bill is still alive. Yes, he's a religious man now, I believe. I think so. But yeah. Voch, which DBs do you think will be great picks in the 6th and 7th round? Man, I don't know if I could pick anybody that's a great pick in the 6th or 7th round. I don't even know. I think Drake is a really good rapper. Drake back in the when I first listened to Drake. Like early Drake, man. Room for Improvement, Drake was cool, but comeback season Drake was fantastic, bro. Let's see. So Far Gone, Drake had his moments, but I think the biggest Drake was like right after Take Care. Just that features and mixtape Drakes or whatever, when he'll just do a verse on somebody's track and he'll just come up and rap. Yeah, man, Drake is fantastic there. He's fantastic there. Drake was a big part of my rappy childhood or whatever, but boy, Drake fantastic. Do I think Wes Hills goes undrafted? Probably. Pollard might be the best 7th round guy? Probably. Out of all your years of evaluating, what have been your biggest hit and your biggest miss? I don't miss very much, but my biggest hit, I hit on all of them. I hit on everybody. G, what's good, man?
Yo, man, I don't know if you see my question when I put it on the chat, but
what's your question?
I was saying I was listening to the Joe Budden podcast like the other day, and Joe Budden was like, because you know how like Kendrick released that that verse that was supposed to go on Damn, which was a Big Sean diss.
Sure.
And then he was like, if Big Sean and Kendrick got into like a rap beef, like a rap battle. Like you send me your best song, I send you my best song.
Mm-hmm.
He said he felt like Kendrick could do damage because he knows how to structure a song. But if it's a pure like rap, like cipher on a stage, rap battle on a stage, like like Murder Mook and all of them, he said Big Sean would kill Kendrick. What's your thoughts on that? Because I disagree wholeheartedly.
I think his point was, okay, think about this era, right? Think about this era in rap and rap battling. You know what I'm saying? It's different. It's not necessarily the best verse that would win. It's, can you win the crowd? Can you win the crowd?
Yeah.
And what he was saying was, if it was a lyrical competition, Kendrick destroys Sean every time. But Sean can probably come up with better punchlines and better lines that'll make people go, ooh. For example, Duppy versus The Story of Adidon, right? I like the Duppy freestyle better because I think rap wise, I think it was a better constructed rap verse. Now Pusha's song Won the Exchange. Turn me down. Turn my radio down. Turn your laptop down. Now Pusha won the exchange because your mom's, your dad walked out on a Steve Harvey suit. He's 46 sick. You're hiding a child. A lot of rappers are hiding childs. Are hiding children. You know what I'm saying? But Drake was really, I think Drake rapped a little better than Pusha in that exchange. I can never have a virgin in my circle and hold him back because he make me nervous. Like that was a real line. You know what I'm saying? When he was talking about No. What'd he say? I just came from over there putting pen to the sheet. Father had to stretch his hands out and get it from me. Pop style, something. Like when he was naming the songs that he wrote for Kanye, but he incorporated it in the rap or whatever. That's better writing to me than Pusha going tick tick tick. How much time he got left? 666, which is a clever line as well, but it's easier to write. You see what I'm saying?
But see, that's the thing though. Like you don't feel like in like battle rap, it's really charisma that pretty much dictates the show. You don't feel like Kendrick. I feel like Kendrick has enough charisma to out battle Sean. Granted, like you said, Sean might have like more clever punchlines. Some stuff that like you'll have to rewind it twice just to even get it the first time. But I feel like if we're talking about like someone who can embarrass you on stage, I bet my money on Kendrick embarrassing Sean than Sean embarrassing Kendrick.
I think Sean got more rap swag than Kendrick. Like how Sean how he layers his lines and he can get off beat a little bit but come back to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he'll be like, don't get no doubt to me, nigga. Then always come back to me. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of how he layers his multis or whatever. He got a little more rap swag than Kendrick. But Kendrick is the better writer, and I also think Kendrick is the more creative writer. Kendrick go ahead.
If it's like sending songs back and forth, like it's undoubtedly Kendrick that would win that ordeal.
I would say the purist would probably pick Kendrick, but Twitter would probably pick Big Sean. Honestly,
I would disagree. Because I feel like, especially if Kendrick hop on a Big Sean beat, because when like that whole ordeal 2-3 years ago with Kendrick and Cole, where Cole hopped on one of Kendrick beat, and when Kendrick hopped on one of Cole beat, Kendrick absolutely murdered that beat, like bodied that beat. Like that beat was done to the point where when Tales of Two Cities come on, the J. Cole, like when it like let's say I put my phone on shuffle and then it just comes on, I automatically think, is this the Kendrick version or the J. Cole version? Because if it's the J. Cole version, I can listen to it once and then like skip it. But the Kendrick, like that's something that's like on repeat.
And then what though?
I don't know if I would agree with that.
But then also let me say this too, G, because you're a rap purist. I would say I think I'm one too. You know what I'm saying? And sure, we would pick Kendrick, but think about how Kendrick would dish you. You know what I'm saying? Kendrick would dish you with layers of creativity. Think about on Control. The line when he was when Kendrick is saying like okay, Peep this out. When he's saying, "Hey, I don't like you rappers. I think you're soft. You party too much." You know what I'm saying? He would say a bunch of rich ass white girls going to parties playing with Barbies crash the porch before you give them the car keys. You know what I'm saying? That's a diss from Kendrick Lamar, and you got to be a purist / lyricist to get it. I get it. You get it. But if it comes to Twitter, Big Sean can say, "Your mom's fat." Ooh, you see what I'm saying? So it's more of them.
I don't know.
It's
don't you feel like it's gone to the point? Sorry for cutting off, but don't you feel like it's gone to the point where like Kendrick and Cole, just the fact that they're so beloved by like purists, and the fact that they actually write dope ass rhymes, that like people are starting to like get more into that, you know, nuanced style of rapping and that creativity level of rapping, because, you know, I feel like you know, Kendrick and Cole are at the point where they don't even got to do much and their album will go platinum just off lyrics alone.
Sure.
So I feel like it's just a rap beef that people get emotionally invested in. I don't know if Twitter would be picking Big Sean.
But look, G, and I totally understand where you're coming from because we're on the same side, but it's more of them than it is us. You know what I mean? Think about when Jay-Z was on Meek Mill's album, right? Jay-Z's verse on What's Free. You know, if you go on Twitter and you look at some of the masses' favorite lines from there, it'll be some of the swaggy rap. It'll be some of that Jay-Z was doing when he was talking about his Douce and he was talking about his money. But if you're a purist, I was liking the lines when he was talking about pig intestines, shit you inside that we ingested and gentrified it. You know what I'm saying? Took our sense of pride in the high that's free. Like that's lines that we like. Yeah. But they like them for they like them for the damn my spouse better than yours. You know what I'm saying? That's what they like.
Yeah, that one and the one that's like don't separate me and they try to separate you when you got Michael and Prince's DNA.
Sure.
That went over a lot of people's head.
That line was deeper than people gave it credit for. People looked at that. People looked at that like he was dissing Kanye. No,
exactly.
No,
it was the opposite. Yeah,
he's dissing the oppressors that's trying to separate him from his brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
even though Jay and Kanye got different ideals, one's more mainstream comply, one's more fuck you. We're still brothers. Don't try to separate us. People didn't get that.
Exactly.
People didn't get that. People took it as a diss. Sure.
Yeah. No. So I definitely understand what you mean when you said. I feel like a lot of Kendrick verses will go over the masses' heads a lot, especially if it's one that you got to actually think about and like sit there and actually meditate and think. Then that's the case. I just feel like when it comes to I literally can't think of one thing that Sean, besides maybe having a couple of witty punchlines, that Sean can absolutely do to Kendrick to like body him. I'm not saying like he can't win like a close battle, you know, like if Kendrick got the first, Sean got the second, and then it's like a two-way tie, but it's leaning more towards Sean in the third. Like Sean can't win like that.
Sure.
But I feel like I have more confidence in Kendrick absolutely dismantling Big Sean than Big Sean doing the same to Kendrick.
Sure.
From a purist standpoint.
Sure. I'm with you on that.
And when,
Go ahead.
Continue?
Go ahead.
And another thing is when you was talking about like your views on Jay-Z, I was like, man, that is so true. Because growing up, I was such a Nas fan. Like I was a Nas disciple. Like I was a Nasir disciple. Like I had Stillmatic on CD. I had literally Illmatic. I had it was written. I had everything illegally downloaded or on a CD. To the point where I was like, fuck Jay-Z. I didn't want to listen to Jay-Z. Thought the Blueprint was whack. I thought American Gangster was whack. Thought Volume 1 and 2 was whack. The only thing I liked was Hard Knock Life. That's it. But then it's like, damn, you listen to like Magna. You first is like Watch the Throne. Damn, it's a great collab. Then you listen to Magna Carta. You're like, okay, you know, he's starting to get into. This is like pre 444, where you know he's still bragging, like you say, he's still doing swag rap, but then he's also talking about how he has a platinum card and a black card, and how he's getting, you know, Basquiat paintings in his living room. And then it's like you listen to 44, and it was like, damn, I really feel embarrassed about like 12-year-old me choosing Nas like blindly over Jay-Z, to the point where I had to go back, like you said, right now, like go back and listen to Volume 1, Volume 2, and even a live album and stuff like that.
I tell you what,
the only one that I'm not.
You can tell when Jay-Z really grew up. If you listen to American Gangster, if you listen to Success, if you listen to that song, right, that'll really give you an idea of where Jay-Z was at the time. Because he'll tell you, what do I think of Success? It sucks, too much stress. That's where he would still do his swaggy rap, but he did it from a different perspective, to where he'll say, man, look, I got houses I ain't seen in months, watches I ain't seen in months. What's all this liquor I'm drinking? I'm just gonna piss it out anyway. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's when he was rapping from how successful he was, but then he said, how much is it really worth it? Is it, at the end of the day, fam, does this matter? You know what I'm saying? And I think Hov really grew up and really showed it on that.
Because I feel like when you listen to 444, before it was like Jay-Z essentially bragging about the materialistic things that he got, but it's like 444. I feel like he's also saying it. You know, he says Super Bowl gold, my wife in the kitchen cooking liquid gold, this and that. Like, he's still like talking about it, but it's more in the, all right, I did it. Now let me try to put as much people on as I can. And that's why I think 444 is, you know, top 5 album of this decade. I'll even go stretch it back to the 2000s. Like, 444 was just such a mature, important rap. Like 40-year-olds that always complain about how rap is, you know, socially destroying the ghetto, how it's doing all of this and promoting violence, drugs, sex, all of that. I feel like 444 is just something you could just, the 17-year-old that's like listening to like Lil Pump and all of that is something they could learn. And then the 40-year-old, that's something that they could listen and reflect on and stuff like that. So when you was talking about how you wasn't a Jay-Z fan in the beginning, but then it's like his later projects started to like turn your eyes a little bit and stuff like that, I'm like, man, that's the truth. Because I was a hardcore Nas supporter.
Because we grown now. Because we grown and we understand more now. So
yeah.
You good? That's it?
But anyway, sorry about turning this to a hip-hop podcast. I know you're just answering questions and stuff like that.
This is Q&A. If somebody want to call in and talk about Hall & Oates, we can talk that too. If they want to talk about paint, shit, we can talk about paints.
Yeah.
We can do whatever. It's up to y'all. But no doubt, man. Appreciate it.
That album, Continuum, that's the one you was talking about with John Mayer, right?
No. It was a live album from like 2007 or so. I'll go find it. Give me a second.
I think you're talking about Continuum. I don't know when Continuum came out, but I heard Continuum and I went back and listened to it. And John Mayer had the hits back then, man.
That bitch like 2 hours, and I was cleaning up my crib and I was listening to the whole thing till my damn battery died on my my beats.
John Mayer, musically, he got the hits, man. And he's
is
a good song. I never doubted his ability to songwrite and play the guitar. It's just like now when he's trying to like transition to pop, or it feels like he's chasing the hits and stuff like that. That's my big problem. His last albums weren't appealing to me, but like John Mayer had a private setting, private concert with like a few hundred fans. Just on stage with a guitar and like a water bottle in a bar stool.
Facts.
I think that
the name of the album is Where the Light Is, and it's a live album. It's broken up into 3 parts. The first few songs are like acoustic, and then he gets into his blues stuff. Yo, John Mayer doing blues is fantastic. John Mayer doing blues, fantastic. And then it ends with a poppy rocky type of deal. But it really gets nasty in the middle when he does his blues thing.
The blues, B.B. King gave him a shout out. You know, if B.B. King gives any white boy a shout out, you cold with the fingers, man. You cold with the licks and the fingers.
I'll tell you what, I get really picky about my guitarists. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get real picky about who I listen to. Like, I'm a Prince, Carlos Santana type guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but But that's funny because I like Prince and Carlos, but I'm more of like a Stevie Ray Vaughan, like a David Grohl, like the guitarist for Pink Floyd.
Sure.
I think he's up there, like him, Jimmy, and Stevie Ray Vaughan. Like
Sure.
those guys are like, in terms of like just like you said about like Tupac painting words with like images with his words.
Yes.
Fam, those three paint images, and Eric Clapton too. Those
'Cause
four paint images with their guitars, man.
Because they was on some drugs anybody else had. That's what it was.
Yo,
That's what it was.
yo, when Jimmy said he was actually seeing the music notes that he was playing,
Sure.
like actually visually looking at it in different colors.
Sure.
I was like, Jesus Christ, man, ecstasy is a different kind of drug, because godly.
What I like about Prince, man, is he'll do a damn set and he'll take a song that somebody else did or just take some riffs somebody else did and he'll totally flip it around, man. I was talking to Nene about this actually. Carlos got a song called Jungle Strut, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
Structurally, it's a sort of quasi difficult song to play or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And Carlos was kind of bragging on that. Boy, Prince took that shit. He let his drummers play. He let his keyboard guys play. I don't even know if it's on YouTube because they keep taking Prince shit off of YouTube. It's called Jungle Strut. But boy, Prince guitar solo at the end, it'll make you cry and laugh and scream and rewind that shit. I got such respect for Prince on the guitar.
No. I got respect for Prince. Like you said, Purple Rain is one of the greatest soundtracks of all time. I feel like Prince actually wasn't even appreciated. I feel like it's one of those things when he came. Don't get me wrong, to still be in the top three with Madonna and Michael Jackson.
Sure.
And if we're being honest, Prince was the most talented one out of all of them in terms of musically speaking.
Sure.
I think this man played like 5 instruments. But like
Prince
I feel
played
like
all the instruments. Well, go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
if Prince came out like today, he would be a force to be reckoned with, man.
Sure.
Like just the fact that he had to share the spotlight with Michael Jackson and Madonna, which says a lot, because a lot of people like Lionel Richie and Diana Ross and Phil Collins, they were kind of taking the back seat to Madonna and Michael Jackson, but like Prince to not even, and then when he was going through that weird period where he like changed his name and
Sure.
he was no longer Prince, but he was like the little symbol and all that to still maintain relevancy after that. Like,
Sure.
I give Prince. He's definitely top 20 artists of all time, top 15.
20.
If anything.
You say top 15 artists of all time?
Of all time, like
Holy shit, fam.
every genre.
Holy shit. I got Prince like top 4 somewhere. Like I got Prince
Huh.
up. I got Prince up there with like Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, and
But that's the thing. That's the thing that my whole thing with Prince is
Curtis
that
Mayfield and
I
them.
feel
You know what
like-
I'm saying? Go ahead.
That's my thing. Like I feel like his discography is just it's like when you create such a great album like Purple Rain, and then it's like you have Batman to follow that and stuff like that, and it's like you can never pass that magnum opus of Purple Rain, because at least with Mike Jack, you could say Off the Wall was crazy. You could say Bad was crazy, and like literally he has like 2 to 3 albums that are like top 10, and then same goes with the Beatles and even Stevie Wonder with Songs in the Key of Life and stuff like that. But like with Prince, I really felt like his discography was wild. Like you go on Spotify and he legit. You go on Spotify, he has about like 20 something albums.
Sure.
Granted, some of them are just like one song, like you click it and it's one song. But if you go on Spotify under Prince and you click his album section, it's just a bunch of albums. Like just a bunch of albums.
And I've listened to all of
that's
them.
Kind of what
I've listened to all of them, and I downloaded them just in case they do some dumb shit like take them off of YouTube and Spotify, because Prince people love to do shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
I definitely put Prince top 15, top 10, but like
damn, dog, you can put 14 people in front of her. God damn.
Yeah, I mean, all right, like you could say Mike Jack easily, Beatles easily.
Prince is better than Michael Jackson, in my opinion.
No, but all right. See, I agree with you in terms of musical wise. There's no denying that. But fam, when Mike Jack and Quincy Jones got into a room, that was a force to be reckoned with.
Quincy Jones is fantastic, but I think Prince is.
No.
Sure.
That's by far like
Sure.
the best. I don't care what anybody say. Like you have, Kanye and Jay-Z.
Sure.
You have like, all of these people, producers and artists that have great relationships. Mike Jack and Quincy Jones was like literally the greatest artist in music, even better than George Martin and the Beatles.
Sure.
Sure. Like Michael Jackson and Quincy Jones are responsible for, I'd say, a good 40 to 50% of the best songs in music history.
So watch this.
Like,
so watch this. Is that because quality of the song, or is that because the hit that they turned into?
I mean, you can make an argument because it's both. Because all right, I give you an example. PYT.
Okay.
Like you listen to PYT.
Sure.
Or one of like Michael Jackson's like old dance rhythm songs from like Off the Wall.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like quality wise, in terms of it being a hit, it's undeniably that it was a hit.
Prince got some B-sides. Prince got some B-sides better than some of Michael Jackson's better work. Some of Michael Jackson's best work, and that's just how I feel.
For instance, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. Not only is that song a hit, but structurally the way it's put together, Quincy Jones was a genius for that. Like the way that he made the beat skip about 2 bars, the way that he looped it up. That song is literally designed to make you dance.
Sure, but you're giving props to Quincy now. You see what I'm saying? Quincy's.
That's what I'm saying.
Sure,
it's one of those things where you gotta take Mike and Quincy together as a dual package, though. Prince
you can't
never
do that.
had that.
You can't do that. This how dope Prince is, and Prince wrote all his own shit, right? This how dope Prince is. Imagine if Luther Vandross came out with a classic rock album and then came out with a classic fucking reggae album. You know what I'm saying? Being able to do multiple genres and not really skip beats. Purple Rain wasn't even Prince's sound. Prince was a funk guy at first. Prince was a disco, then he went into funk, then he did some R&B soul type of stuff. Rock was the later shit. Like Rock was late. You know what I'm saying? And Purple Rain ain't even my favorite album. Like I'm more of a Dirty Mind guy. Like I'm more of a 1999 guy. You know what I mean? Like Prince's funk shit was some of his best. And if Prince was more pro industry, and this goes back to what Jay-Z was talking about, if Prince was more industry, I bet he probably would have had more hits. He just wasn't mainstream like that.
This reminds me of like the Jay-Z versus Nas beef, where it was like, okay, Jay-Z has the better producers, having Kanye on his team, constantly like hitting up Pharrell for hits, Timbaland for hits, and then it's like, well, Nas is just relying off lyrics alone. Like, I agree with you in terms of musical eclectic ability. That Prince is by far although I admit that Michael was the better entertainer in terms of getting on stage and doing dance moves and stuff like that. Dancers, sure. Yeah.
But dog, Prince got some live performances that I would just rather watch than Michael Jackson dance. I'm gonna send you a link, man. I'm gonna see.
I definitely agree. He definitely has the better live performances in terms of musically wise.
Okay.
But like Michael Jackson was making grown men faint, man. Like he was making grown men in their 30s, 40s faint, just from like.
I'm listening.
Like literally.
I'm
man,
listening.
Like,
I'm
Mike.
Listening. Go ahead, man. Go ahead and talk. I'm listening, man. Go ahead.
No. I'm just saying, like, all right. Like, I definitely agree where it's like, all right, if you just put simply Michael versus Prince, musically, Prince is in a higher echelon than Michael, but you can't really discredit Quincy Jones and Michael, because you could make an argument that was really like literally you could. And then my thing is you don't even really need to, because when you get to like Michael's later, he wasn't even using Quincy Jones. Like for
Sure,
his
but
albums.
people were still writing for him. Alicia Keys and Marsha Ambrosius and Teddy Riley was writing for Mike. Mike was never really in a situation where he wrote his own stuff, and that's where I give Prince the edge. That's why I give Stevie Wonder the edge. I'll give Ray Charles the edge over Michael Jackson because they wrote and composed and played and they sang their own stuff. Michael Jackson he had a great. I liked his voice. He was a great performer of the song. You know what I'm saying? Just like delivering the song, like where to put passion into the song, where to how to run his vocals and all that. Mike had his place, but I just have such
But
a.
here's my thing.
Go ahead.
Is it without denying that, like, when Mike separated himself from Quincy and then started making music with Teddy Riley, did he miss a beat? Like, at all? He did not miss a step. He dropped Do You Remember the Time? And that literally, like, when he's late in the game by then without Quincy, he's dropping Do You Remember the Time?
Dangerous,
If any
Dangerous is nowhere as near as good as Off the Wall. Not even close. And I like Dangerous, but it's not even close.
That's crazy, man.
Dangerous
That's
ain't
crazy.
close. Dangerous ain't close to Off the Wall in my opinion. Off the Wall is his best album. Bad is 2. Thriller might be his third best album in my opinion.
Oh man. But no, I definitely agree with you when it comes to the old Prince talk. I just feel like you can't really separate Mike and Quincy. Just like I can't separate, George Martin and the Beatles. Like that's just something that.
But
like,
the Beatles separated.
I
But the Beatles separated and they were fine.
you can't. Like I know it's one of those things where a lot of people don't want to put the Beatles in like top 5, but it's like literally everything they've done. Because in my opinion, I got Stevie. If it's me personally, I got Stevie Wonder ahead of the Beatles. I got John Coltrane ahead of the Beatles. I got Pink Floyd ahead of the Beatles.
Sure.
I got a lot of people ahead of the Beatles. But in terms of just musical wise, like Beatles are definitely top 3 with Mike. I refuse to put Elvis there, but with Mike and with Beatles,
Yeah,
they definitely
we
are in the
ain't
top.
yeah, we ain't gotta put Elvis up there. But
Elvis.
I'm just listening to you listen. It's just interesting. Like, so where you put Stevie and Ray Charles? Because I think really highly of Stevie, Ray Charles, and Prince. Those are my 3 go-to guys that I go to in terms of like top tier music that I like. Ray Charles got some top tier jazz stuff for my jazz guys that were listening earlier. Ray Charles got some cool shit. But so like where do you have those guys ranked? Prince, Ray Charles, and what else I say?
All right, so
Stevie Wonder.
So for me, the way that I kind of rank these artists is that I look at like every single period of music had like a game changing sound. Like the 1920s, you had jazz and skidding and bopping, and then you had the 60s with psychedelic rock, and in the 80s you had the big loud stadium drums that Phil Collins, made popular, and Genesis made popular, and every 80s rock song, started sampling those drums and stuff like that. Right. I look at which artists during these little, even if it's significantly small period of groundbreaking, musical influences, which artist was basically relevant, maintaining, and was at their best. Stevie Wonder, I would put him top 6 definitely, because like you said, Stevie Wonder had like reggae hits. He had like art. Like Stevie Wonder, in my opinion, is between him, Curtis Mayfield, and Sammy for like Sam Cooke for like the best R&B artist, like period, of all time. Like just unfiltered R&B. Like it's Stevie Wonder, and I put D'Angelo up there too, but it's Stevie Wonder. Yeah, I would put him up there for R&B, but I wouldn't put him up there for my top 15. But I put Stevie Wonder definitely in my top 6, and I put Ray Charles in my top 8 or 9, because I feel like it wasn't really Ray Charles' fault, but he was just so, like, he was physically ahead of the time that. Like if I listen to like Ray Charles in like in the 1970s funk, like that's not gonna make sense to me. 1980s pop, that's not gonna make sense to me. Like Ray Charles was so ahead of his time in terms of physically that he kind of put himself in a lane of like jazz, blues, and gospel, and he can't really get out of that box, as opposed to like Prince and Stevie that they could make a reggae album, turn around, make a pop album. Same thing with Mike, could turn around, make make these different kind of albums. So for me, it's Stevie 6, Ray is like maybe 9 or 10, maybe 11 actually. Now I think he might not even be top 10.
Well, shit, G from Miami. We just find something new to disagree about all day. But I respect your acumen.
Now I'm curious though, like, what do you feel about? I want to know like why you hold them to such a high esteem. 'Cause I'm starting to see like you value musicianship a lot.
I value musicianship, dog. Anybody that
and I 100%
anybody
agree. I love
that writes, compose, plays, and sings their own music is a special place. Has a special place to me.
And I 100% agree.
And if you listen to some of those Ray Charles albums, you know what I mean? He did a lot of shit with, plenty of that shit was live. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? To be fair, maybe I just like the live band sound. Like that could be a thing too. But just how innovative he was. Like this was a time like where music was safe. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And Ray was pretty much talking about getting some ass. Smashing here, doing this and there. I think Ray Charles also inspired a lot of people that are considered GOATs in other places. Think about James Brown, right? Think about James Brown and how we look at soul music. Soul music is basically soul music, basically by breaking rules, by going off of beats, adding extra sounds to it or whatever. People give James Brown credit for the hi type of deal. Ray was doing that 10 years before James Brown.
Yeah.
And then Otis Redding kind of picked it up. And then James Brown made it real big. But if you listen to Ray Charles got a song called Hard Times, right? And you was talking about the genres that Ray was in. You was talking about his jazz, his R&B soul-y type of stuff, and his something else you said. But Ray also and gospel. But Ray also did a lot of country music. And Ray incorporated a lot of his soul shit into his country music, dog. And when you listen to him, you go, damn, that's where Otis get that from. And that's where Sam Cooke get that shit from. And that's where James Brown get that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, he birthed a lot of soul artists. You know what I'm saying? So I give Ray all that credit. Plus, he can't see and he can play the damn piano. You know what I mean?
No, I definitely agree where I feel like a lot of those artists in a way kind of have like an unfair advantage because they were physically ahead of literally physically ahead of their time.
Sure.
Or ahead of the time to the point where whatever they did is going to birth, new incredible artists. But that's why I personally, and I value musicianship too, and I value, innovation and stuff like that. If that's the case, then Kanye West is the greatest rapper / producer, dual rapper / producer of all time, without a doubt. I definitely appreciate innovation and stuff like that. But we're talking about like artists who could like literally every single thing that was coming out at the time.
Sure.
Were not only like in that image, but they were a step above it. Michael Jackson, when it was disco, or Michael Jackson, when it was soul music, talking about 60s, 70s, Lil Mike, dominating. I'm talking about literally on the charts with Sam Cooke and Smokey Robinson and Diana Ross. Sure. And then when we got to Michael Jackson in the 70s with his disco music, off the wall, dominating still with the Bee Gees and a lot of these other disco artists. Then we got to the 80s. Literally sitting on top of the throne when it came to pop music and pop and rock music. Then we got to the 90s when he was going more so New Jack Swing and R&B and he was making R&B ballads and dance ballads and stuff like that. Still on top of the game. So like
I tell you what,
people like that.
I tell you what, Casey and the Sunshine Band got the best. I don't even want to label it disco, but they got the best. Like, what is Boogie Shoes? Is that considered like a disco type of deal? Boogie Shoes by Casey and the Sunshine Band? Yeah. So I think that's the best disco song of all time. But go ahead, my guy. I'm listening.
I gotta disagree with that.
That's
'cause
fine. You can disagree all you want.
Nah.
I ain't changed
I
my
gotta
mind.
live,
I ain't changed my
because
mind.
that you know that belongs to BGs, man.
I love the BGs, but Boogie Shoes
Yeah.
is ridiculous. But go ahead.
Oh nah. But like I give those, because come on, man, How Deep Is Your Love was so great, bro. I understand it was not like super disco, but like How Deep Is Your Love was up there.
Man,
but,
you hear that shit in the
literally, that's
background, dog. Come on. You want to get up and dance, dog.
I got to, but like I literally, that's how I rank
Yeah.
my musical artists, and like it's to the point where it's so many artists like this, like in other genres, that it's kind of unfair when it comes to hip hop. I gotta kind of make my own list when it comes to hip hop and rap, because for the most part, most rappers tend to be boxed in.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the only rapper that I could probably have breaking in the top 15 is like Tupac or Kanye West. And I'm not even talking about, because I remember me and you had this discussion a couple months ago where I was like, bro, Lauryn Hill to go and this and that. Lauryn Hill, Nas, and Rakim, they could all make their case, and 3 Stacks could all make this case for the GOAT. And then you was telling me, it was like, it's not only the lyrics, but it's like the influence and you know, Pac being in music and movies and Pac, you know, leading, like doing all of that. I'm putting the same thing you told me when it came to rap and applying it with music. Like you can't, like Michael Jackson and the Beatles are responsible for like little 8-year-old Japanese boys mimicking their moves and dancing like that. And Stevie Wonder got, you know, 17-year-old Japanese boys wearing sunglasses and playing piano at the same time. Like artists like that, I could give them
100%.
You know,
100%. Just put Mike in the dance hall of fame. Just that's all I'm saying. And I really like Mike. You know what I'm saying? I really like Mike. But like if a rapper, man, look, have you listened to 3 Stacks verse on the new
Anderson .Paak?
Have you heard that?
Yo, that tripped me out.
3 Stacks is a
like
goddamn. He's a goddamn alien, man. He's
nah, that alien. Like I really want to know what Sherm this man was smoking when he was rapping that, because he like. And then normally when 3 Stacks does like a guest feature, it's more so like he's kind of on topic, then he's not on topic, then he kind of like at the end, you know, he kind of like relates it back. So you know, like when he was on Frank Ocean's Pink Matter, and then when he was on, you know, Beyonce's We Like That Part, like he would like 3 Stacks best guest features, but that one was just like crazy, like, and that's why I feel like the world's not ready for a 3 Stack album.
Yeah. I wouldn't want him to make it because it wouldn't be a rap album. It'll be something creative. It'll be like a, you know, something with
like a jazz rap.
It'll be something different.
I feel like it'd be one of rap's most important. Just like how T-Pab had an influence, I feel like 3 Stacks could make another T-Pab or make his own T-Pab when it comes to that.
The problem is we want to hear him rap, and I don't think he want to rap for 12 songs. But hey, give me 10 songs, and I'll be fine. Give me 10.
Nah, he's not gonna release it. Which is another thing. Is like earlier today, I was listening to a speaker box, and I was listening to like what made that album so good, you know, because I was watching the Letterman performance with him and Big Boy, and I'm like, man, that whole concept of like dual album, like a A-side, B-side album, and then like visually it's like 2 opposing gangs, 2 opposing crews, like battling each other, and the topics are like about love and all of that. I'm like, man, that album was ahead of its time.
But you got to be a little older to appreciate it, and when I was younger, I didn't appreciate it.
Definitely, I could see why it got rap album, like why I got album of the year. That album was slept on, and like I'm an Aquemini fan. I'm Southern Cadillac playlistic music, all of that, but that album don't get enough love. Speaker box, man.
All right, then, man. This was the Voch and G from Miami podcast.
Nah. I told you, bro. Whenever you start your music podcast, bro, have me as a frequent guest. We can go at it. I could literally. I try to be a music purist. I'm actually getting into writing music. I kind of want to write Beyonce's Homecoming review. I kind of watched it on Netflix. That's another person I put top 15. That lady's crazy. But I'm starting to write music reviews and all of that. Like, have me as a freaking guest. I'll be on there.
Sure. I was getting it going, but I paused it because draft season take up so much of my damn time or whatever. But
no, understandably, you have to pick that up like right after April.
Sure. But once draft is done, then I'm gonna get back into the Voch's Voice podcast, and we're gonna get back to doing a lot of these things. So
Definitely.
Yeah. So all right, man, holla at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the song that we was talking about with Andre 3000, it was "Come Home" by Anderson .Paak, and it's featuring Andre 3000. Go check that out. That 3000 verse is ridiculous. All right, man. So salute to y'all for hanging around. I know a lot of people left when it got into the music talk, but this is my show. I do what I want. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, this is what the Voch's Voice podcast was like. I mean, ask Nene. Shit, she was at all the shows. She was in all the chat boxes or whatever. So that's what it was like. You know, we'll do some music stuff. We'll do general topics. Me and my homies will call in, talk shit, talk about current events. And I think the Voch's Voice podcast is really gonna get its just due and get its wheels going. But I got to knock draft out first because draft is the water that's boiling right now. You know what I mean? And I got to take care of that. But once the draft is over with, I'm going to get back to all that shit. So, hey, man, like this video. If you did, if y'all left, y'all ain't hear me say it no way. Subscribe and all that. Hit the notification bell. Don't forget we do draft shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Also, I'm doing the live draft coverage, 3 days of draft coverage on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So y'all make sure to tune into that. 1 hour before the draft, I'm going to do an hour-long pre-show. Maybe 45 minutes, 30 minutes, I don't know. Hour-long pre-show. Then we're going to do the actual draft. I'm going to respond and do all that. And then we're going to do a post-draft show where, where we, react and take calls and let y'all respond to what just happened. All right. This was a long ass show, man, but it was worth it. And I enjoyed hanging out with y'all. If y'all were there earlier when I did the radio spot, man, salute to y'all. No, I'm not going to play Boogie Shoes on the way out because the YouTube Illuminati is tripping. But if you got Spotify, type in Boogie Shoes by KC and the Sunshine Band. Y'all hold it down for the Doski Woski. The Peasky Whiskey costs you nothing. And I'm very grateful for you guys coming through and chilling with me. All right. So until next time, my next show is Tuesday scheduled for sure. But I might, fit some Dallas Cowboys stuff in there somewhere. So, All right, y'all. Peace. Salute. I'm gone.